Thanksgiving is, you're probably seeing this right before Thanksgiving. What's a, I thought
Hopefully,
about
if
this.
Marcus does his job right.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, just, yeah, well, if he, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
But do you have a Thanksgiving tradition, Josh? Other than cooking? Because you were smoking some turkeys. Were those turkeys?
Yeah. I think the only two Thanksgiving traditions that I have right now are our family does what a lot of families do. We switch Thanksgiving and Christmas between my family and Julie's family.
Yeah.
And so this Thanksgiving, for example, we'll be in Memphis hanging out with her family.
Okay.
And the other one I think is an addition probably in the last 3 or 4 years is on Thanksgiving, I used to eat till I hurt.
Yeah.
You know, like most of us do. And I figured out like 3 or 4 years. I figured out 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Oh yeah.
So what I do now.
Great revelation.
That's it,
I know. What I do now is I figure out, because I used to think I'm gonna try a little bit of everything. What I do now is I pick out maybe 5 things that I really want.
There you go.
And I get a decent sized plate, and I don't go back for seconds.
Yeah.
And I enjoy what I want to enjoy, and at the end of it, I'm full, but I'm not in pain, and I think that's advantageous for me.
As you know, keep having birthdays, and it'll get, because you know, at first I'm like, man, I'm piling everything on and all of that. I stopped doing that a long time ago, because I would be hurting for like days.
Yeah.
It just messed me up.
Yeah.
And then I can't get rid of what I filled up with.
It just sticks to you.
Yeah. Oh man, it's. Bishop, do you have any traditions now? I know you switch traditions off and on. You may say, hey, well, let's do this. Hey, well, now let's not do this.
It's pretty consistent now.
He wears his Thanksgiving suit.
No, I'm very casual. Very casual.
Yeah, he'll have on warm-ups and tennis shoes.
Right. Just like this year, the kids will be coming home and grandkids for Christmas and not for Thanksgiving.
Gotcha.
So normally Thanksgiving is pretty low-key. We'll have a few of the kids, not all the kids. I say a few since we've got 6.
A few to you is a full house to me.
Right. So Thanksgiving will be kind of low-key.
Okay.
And Shanta is going to bring over some of the students from Philander Smith. They're coming over.
That's cool.
Yes, I'm excited about that. Yeah.
You know what? I used to watch coaches do stuff like that, and I always wanted to do that. And I had a guy, his name was Keenan. He's a Little Rock police officer now. And he would tell people, at his graduation, he told people that our pantry was his pantry.
Yeah.
And he would come over to the house and we would give him extra stuff out
But
of the
Neil,
pantry.
you have people over to your house. Your 2 boys bring people all the time into you. I've been over there.
Man, we over there that time.
You have people in your house you don't know. You be like, who is this?
Who is that? Yeah, for real. Like when y'all came up, I was talking. I was like, who are these people in my house? I don't know who they are. There was another little boy, Halloween, that was at the house. Who are you? I live up the street. Where? I don't know where you from. Cool. Do you have people in your house all the time? Josh?
Not
sleeping.
Not like the extrovert over here. But yes, I have people in my house.
I got you.
A lot.
Yeah.
It is a hub of ministry.
A hub of ministry.
And friendship.
My wife
and
is
gratitude
the real
and Thanksgiving.
extrovert.
Man.
Not me.
Listen.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, for real. So let me just, before we get into the, hey, welcome to another edition of Grace Unfiltered. We're so happy that you decided to join us as well. Thank you so much for your questions, both legitimate and illegitimate. If you don't have the app, please download the app and you can issue questions. So the funniest moment from Sunday was when, hang on, my son is trying to call me. The funniest moment from Sunday was when Bishop talked about Abraham being 100, Sarah being 90-something, and they talked about the baby shower, and Shanta said, diapers for everybody. And then Josh comes back, and it was a variation.
Of the same joke.
There are some jokes that regardless, that transcend culture.
Yep.
That they took off. And that,
So you used to say that.
yeah, it was, yeah, he modified it a little bit, but it was good. It was real good. And see, I missed it. Maybe I was talking. Josh, this is clearly for you because I don't see Bishop saying this. The question is, can you please give the etymology of amazeballs. I couldn't find it in Strong's Concordance.
Okay, number one, this question is from Travis. I don't know because
Yeah, we know.
They're
See,
anonymous,
here's the
but
deal.
I know.
Travis was out of town,
I know.
right?
And
he was in, and
'Cause
he
he made
posted
a
on social
comment
media.
on
Dad's
the amaze
on social
balls.
media.
So
There you go.
amazeballs comes from the Latin amazios, and balls comes from balto. And if you put those together in this made-up word that I just made up,
Amazio.
the
Because my first name is from the Baltic. It's a name from the Adriatic, from the Baltic.
because your first name is.
Your first name?
Yes.
You walked
Yeah,
into
I
it.
walked right in. The door was
did.
open. So this is a first and a last for Grace. My first name is Adrian.
Adrian.
No,
Adrian.
Yo,
I
Adrian.
cannot. Hey, Marcus, edit that out. You take that away. Wow. So, yeah, was that a slip or what? What were you saying?
I don't know.
Were you just on
I don't know.
trying to figure it out?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I moved away from my notes. I move away from my notes, people get in trouble.
No, you know what? Bishop, check this out. I saw something with Josh's notes. Josh, he has colors.
Right.
In the middle of his notes, can I give this secret away?
Sure.
And it's either in the middle or one page, it's like a square, and it says, speak something and slow down. Am I right?
Yeah, speak in the spirit and slow down.
Speak in the spirit and
Oh,
slow down.
right. Oh, glory.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, Josh, that's the bomb. Where'd that come? This is not a question. I didn't get to submit it
That's
on
called a
Pentecostal
influence.
movement. Yeah, there you go.
No, it comes from
Precursor.
it comes from two things. Number one, I feel from my own history, my own speaking history. So being stuck to the notes, I write it down and just sticking straight there and not allowing something to come in, even if I feel like this should. So that's to speak in the spirit. Like the end of this sermon,
Yeah,
was mostly extemporaneous on Sunday.
but it was very good.
It was very good, right?
Yeah.
And the other one was I feel like before I rushed through my sermons because I have that doubt of is what I'm saying worthwhile? Is it a lot of times when I get nervous, and I still get nervous after whatever number of years. Sometimes I have to remind myself that I say to myself, what I have to say is important.
Yeah.
Because it's scripturally sound, and the Lord gave it to me for my people to hear. And I have to tell myself that, and that allows me my brain to slow down.
Yeah.
And because you've actually looked at me before, and you're like, why do you close your eyes sometimes? And it's me searching in my head for the words.
Yeah.
The slower I go, the better my sermons go. Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of Obama the other day. And I almost wish I had an Obama cadence. I don't. But he separates his words very purposefully so that, and I would almost like to get to that pace even from where I'm at. So
I call it a political deliberation.
I'm still growing in my preaching skills.
Yeah, but you will, like Sunday, and there was one other sermon and I think I called Bishop on that one, and I was like, man, Josh poured it out. And Sunday was one of those. He when you slow down and you kind of poured into that one at the end, and then he was so messed up. He walked off stage, took the clicker with him. He was just gone, dog. He was just went over there, and I thought you were gonna land, just put your head in Julie's lap and start crying, because that was the look that happened.
Amen.
It was it was the bomb. So
Praise God.
anyway, still don't know what amazeballs are, but that's cool. There you go. Speaking of the Spirit of God, this is for Pastor Neil or Bishop Arnold. Please explain the following aspect of Black church. Let me read all of it, and then we're going to clarify what is and is not Black church. The blanket that gets held over women who are moved by the Spirit during worship. I love the idea of women looking out for each other. I'm just wondering about the history. Is it for modesty, privacy, all of the above? Is there a threshold of this gets covered by a blanket, but that doesn't? Do men have an equivalent? There are a whole bunch of questions. So I'll let you start with some of the history. You want me to jump in and stuff? But first of all, that is not specific to Black church, because I didn't see it at Black church first. I actually saw it at an Assembly of God function. It was a service, Assembly of God function. And it's I actually went to a training. Man, that was so long ago. Wow, I was skinny when I went to that training. And the training is about, yes, it's about modesty. Yes, it's about a little bit about privacy, but it's more about a physical and spiritual covering and allowing that person to kind of spend time with God and deal with God on their own. Did I mess that up?
No,
A whole lot?
No, and it's kind of born and birthed out of the Pentecostal arena when people come to the altar or have a overwhelming experience with the Spirit of God. They may shout, they may fall down, and in the midst of them experiencing that, there's a level of privacy that is provided by the covering.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the female. We don't want anything to be exposed, to embarrass the person or become a distraction from the people in the congregation.
Yeah. That's good. I know that I've never seen, and I don't know, I've never seen a guy. I have seen a guy covered up once.
Yes, it happens. I kind of tell the people from Grace Temple Legacy, there's really no need to cover a man.
Yeah.
So we don't do that. So that we don't have covers and sheets every place. Leave the men alone, but the ladies provide that privacy for them.
You know what? Here's something kind of piggybacking on. They were talking, okay, let me answer all these questions. Is it for privacy, modesty, all of the above? This gets covered by, here's the question. Is there a threshold of this gets covered by a blanket, but that doesn't? Women do, for the most part. Men actually don't. Here's another thing that I know that assist with that. Sometimes there potentially could be a medical emergency with somebody, and if you have somebody to come down, you don't know, and then, if you bring a blanket, you can kind of tell and see what's going on with that. So it's more of it started out, like you said, as a spiritual thing, but I think it's for safety for churches as well, to make sure nobody's having a challenge with that. So that's kind of cool. Have you seen that before, Josh? I think that's kind of new.
Well, I saw it, and actually my thought as I was sitting here is I'm wondering, because I saw it when we had Grace Church and Grace Temple.
Yeah.
But unless I missed something, since we become Grace United, I haven't seen it, and I'm wondering if
It's happened a couple of times, though.
like the covering with the blanket thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It had. I thought about that too when I was reading the question. I'm thinking, wait a minute, has that happened since? And I'm thinking, yeah, it has.
Okay.
It has happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
It does.
Last time was probably maybe 3 months ago.
Okay.
Tiara and Tiffany.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's right. It did happen then. That's cool. Hey, so Josh, I think this one is directly for you.
Almost happened Sunday at 9.
That was good.
Yeah,
That
it
good
was.
service.
And I'm gonna be honest. That caught me off guard. That whole "Be ye also
I
ready."
loved it.
Yeah, I know you did. I know you did. I know you did. But you know what? It
It
happened.
got me
so
ready for the rest of my day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, you were all Pentecostal for the rest of the day.
It got me ready for the rest of my day.
That's it. So Bishop didn't just run out on Sunday. He had to go hang out with his Pentecostal friends.
Yes.
He had to go pay the Pentecostal bill. This one is for you, Josh. Please explain as best you can why we sent $5,000 to the missionary. And do we have to tell? We have to kind
As
of
best
give
you
the,
can.
Yeah.
Their coworker was martyred.
That's it. Yeah.
For like if you are in, so that's the brief explanation. That's the brief explanation.
Yeah.
Their coworker was martyred.
That's it. Yeah.
And go on.
Right, but a more so here's we prayerfully, physically, and financially support missions in the city and internationally.
Right.
In some of our international, we have I believe we have 2 international missionaries here at Grace United that when we speak of them, we say that they are in sensitive countries.
Right.
That will give you the geography of where they're at, but because of where they're at, we can't say their full names. We can't say the city that they're in.
Exactly.
And so this particular missionary is a missionary in the Middle East and in the great city of the Middle East.
Yeah.
That can kind of, narrow it down for you. And to where this explains that they can get killed if they're exposed. They had one missionary family, so they were working alongside one other missionary family. That missionary family is found out to be Christian, and the community murdered the husband.
Yeah.
And
for being Christian.
For being Christian.
Yeah.
So our missionary needs to become safe. And it's our job as a church, when you send someone out, it's our job to cover them with protection prayerfully, cover them protection physically when we can, but when they write us and they say, we have an exceptional need financially, and we have the ability to do that, which we do, to do that. And so their need was $5,000. And I told my wife, I think what was interesting is it was in an elders meeting, and I said, elders, we have this. And I said, they need $45,000. And one of them said, I said, can we give them $2,000? And another elder said, what about $3,000? Another elder said, what about $4,000? Another elder said, what I love about the Grace United elders is their level of generosity. It's not can we give as little as possible, but how much can we give? And so I'm thankful, again, we said this on Sunday, but I'm thankful for our people who give to us so that we can give away.
I'd also like to speak into that as we did this marriage between Grace Temple and Grace Church, it's a marriage that is all about helping other people, reaching out beyond these 4 walls to be a blessing for others. I believe like never before that the church has to become more visible and valuable, not only to the community, but to the world, by not just preaching something here in the church, but also demonstrating it outside of the church. So we want to have a local presence, a national presence, as well as an international presence. So I think that was the least we could do for that family.
And you know what? And that's what I think that is what, not to negate what anybody else does or doesn't do, but I believe that's what the local church should do. Oh. Specifically, Grace United. I mean, I think that, with like you said, with the marriage, I think both separate churches had that same heart to be able to not only serve locally, but also to serve internationally. Here's the thing, and I don't think people really understand that there are places that still exist that are closed countries. Right. I had to modify some things on my visa when I went to India, because if they knew why I was going to India to train pastors, to get more Christians in a highly Muslim and Hindu area, they wouldn't let me out of the airport. Right. I'm talking about on this side. I'm talking about London. They wouldn't let me go. So, now, and let me just say this, now more than ever, I believe there will be books written about the generation or this time period that we're living in now for 2 reasons. One, how the church handled being sent on mission by way of the pandemic, and how we have settled into getting back to sharing the gospel in a unique culture. I just believe that books will be written about as time goes on about what we're doing with that. Hey, here's the last question. What does it mean that you're not saved by your actions, but saving faith acts? I think that was that you, Josh?
That was the last point of my sermon on Sunday.
You're not saved by your actions, but saving faith acts.
Right. Well, and I think this is both I don't think it's that complicated an answer. The book of James is written about this,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so the idea behind that is because we're talking about faith righteousness. We're in the book of Romans, and we're talking about faith righteousness, which means you are saved by grace through your faith in Jesus Christ. That's what makes you right with God or righteous in God's sight, right? And so the point that I was making there is that we know Abraham's faith, right? Because we lifted up Abraham. Romans 4
Right.
lifts up Abraham, and
Right.
Bishop and I exegeted that passage, and so we lifted up Abraham
Right.
and said Abraham is our prototype of faith, and he was made right by grace through faith in God. But that led to works, and so
Exactly.
and so I understand. It's very understandable. That's a confusing topic. We have literally Bible books written about it, but it simply means that if you, it's the whole fruits of the Spirit. If you have the Holy Spirit in your life, you say, I'm saved. The Spirit has come down to reside within me, to direct my life so that I can follow it. And Jesus is sanctifying me, perfecting me, making me more like the Father. Then the simple fact is this: we will see it in both your actions and your attitudes.
That's
right.
That's the same Spirit provokes us unto good works.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So and my point on Sunday was simply that you can flip that, and the bishop or Neil or I can rightly say, if we don't see works in your life, if we don't see the fruit of the Spirit in your life, then I can't tell you whether you're saved or not, but I do have a good basis to say, this is a warning that you might not know Jesus. And one of our jobs,
Know the tree by the fruit that it bears.
There you go.
absolutely,
Fruit inspectors. We're fruit inspectors.
we are. Well, and our jobs as pastors is to love our people, but always our job is to not say what you need to, not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we need to say, hey, just like if we have children, our job as parents is to look at our children and say, hey, I see some things in your life I love you so much that I'm not happy with.
Yeah.
And you might need to, our job as pastors is to say, hey, you need to look at your life, because you may say you know Jesus, but from what I see, you may not know Jesus. And I would rather you figure that out now
Then
than
Judgment Day.
figure it out on Judgment Day, because that's a little bit too late.
Right.
You think so? Yeah. There was a I don't know if you remember the rap group Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
They used to sing the song "Meet Me at the Crossroads," and I remember as a youth pastor, I remember saying, "Dude, the crossroads are today. There is no you die and go meet me at the crossroads. Nope, no, buddy. If you don't get it right at this
So
crossroads,
at your next sermon,
yeah, I
Bones,
will
Thugs, and
not. I
Harmony.
will not mention. I may, but I doubt it. Yeah, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Like
Aren't
baseball?
Yeah, I'm on deck. Yeah, there you go. Hey, join us this Sunday at 10 a.m.
10
One
a.m.
service, 10 a.m.
How many services
Yeah.
Sunday?
One
One.
service. That's it. And you know what the cool thing about it is? The cool thing about that is that you can bring the family that's still here.
Yep.
So for those of you that have a
Yes.
difficult time of removing people from your house
Yeah.
after Thanksgiving, say, everybody in the house, we're going to church. This church is closer to the airport or the bus station than your house.
Right.
We will meet you at church at 10 a.m. and you can leave and go home. Let me miss you. I'm telling my family.
Good job.
Yeah. Did I do good?
Yeah, you did good.
There you go. Hey, don't forget to download the app. You can ask questions to us on Grace Unfiltered or about Grace Unfiltered that we'll answer on Grace Unfiltered. Also, all the events that are coming up. We have a lot of things going on. Our reading plan that we're in the middle of right now, 14 days of giving thanks? 14 days of thankfulness?
all of that.
Yeah, 14 days of thankfulness. We're in the middle of that right now, the YouVersion app. But download the app, and we will see you next time on Grace Unfiltered. Thought you were going to say peace.
Peace. Start say, bye, Cynthia.